A four-star U.S. Air Force general predicted in a shocking memo to troops under his command that China could be at war with the United States 2 years from now. Gen.Michael A.Minihan, who, as head of Air Mobility Command, oversees the service's fleet of transport and refueling aircraft, warned personnel to speed up their preparations for combat, citing Chinese President Xi Jinping's aspirations and the possibility that Americans will not be paying attention until it's too late. Minihan wrote, "I hope I'm wrong. My gut tells me we'll fight in 2025. Xi secured his third term and set his war council in October 2022. Taiwan's presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a reason. United States presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a distracted America. Xi's team, reason, and opportunity are all aligned for 2025. Minihan then directs airmen who are qualified to use a weapon to fire a clip into a 7-meter target with the full understanding that unrepentant lethality matters most, sometime in February. He said, aim for the head." In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why the top U.S. Air Force general's warning about war with China in 2025 is no joke. Let's get into the details. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. Use the code DEFENSE at the checkout to get an extra month free for the 2-year plan. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. Minihan's memo encourages the thousands of troops under his command to prepare for war in several other regards. All personnel reporting to him should consider their personal affairs and be more aggressive about training, he instructs. He writes, "Run deliberately, not recklessly. If you are comfortable in your approach to training, then you are not taking enough risk." The memo, first reported Friday by NBC News, is dated February 1st, which is still days away, and was distributed to Minihan's subordinate commanders. Importantly, a U.S. Air Force spokeswoman, Major Hope Cronin, verified its authenticity, writing in a statement shared with media after the memo began circulating on social media that Minihan's order builds on last year's foundational efforts by Air Mobility Command to ready the air mobility forces for future conflict should deterrence fail. A Pentagon spokesman, Brigadier General Patrick Ryder, stated that the U.S. National Defense Strategy makes clear that China is the pacing challenge of the Department of Defense and that U.S. officials are working with allies and partners to preserve a peaceful, free, and open Indo-Pacific. Minihan has a good understanding of China. Before taking over at Air Mobility Command in 2021, Minihan served in a variety of influential roles in the Pacific, beginning in 2013. They include a stint as the Deputy Commander of Indo-Pacific Command, with the purview of China and Taiwan from February 2019 to August 2021. U.S. and China are at loggerheads with many issues. 1. Trade. The U.S. and China have had a contentious trade relationship for some time, with the U.S. accusing China of unfair trade practices, such as currency manipulation and intellectual property theft. 2. Human rights. The U.S. has criticized China for its human rights record, particularly with regard to issues such as censorship, religious freedom, and the treatment of ethnic and religious minorities. 3. North Korea. U.S. and China have different approaches towards North Korea's nuclear program and how to deal with it. The U.S. believes China has propped up North Korea as a counter to it and its allies like Japan and South Korea. 4. Cybersecurity. The U.S. has accused China of engaging in cyber espionage and cyber attacks on U.S. businesses and government agencies. 5. South China Sea. Both the U.S. and China have competing territorial claims in the South China Sea, and there have been a number of incidents involving military vessels and aircraft from both countries in the region. 6. Taiwan. China considers Taiwan to be a part of its territory and has not ruled out the use of force to it being under its fold. This has led to tensions between the two countries, particularly in regard to arms sales to Taiwan. While every issue has its own importance, the Taiwan factor seems to be the most crucial at this point. Some experts believe that a conflict is unavoidable and that it's only a matter of time. Minihan is not the only senior U.S. official who's warned about a potential Chinese assault on Taiwan. In 2021, Admiral Phil Davidson, then the chief of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, predicted Beijing could make such an attempt by 2027. The timeline has since been dubbed the Davidson Window by some national security scholars. The U.S. Navy's top officer, Admiral Mike Gilday, said in October that his service needs to prepare for a 2022 window or potentially a 2023 window. I can't rule that out. I don't mean to be alarmist by saying that, it's just that we can't wish that away. The Department of Defense under President Biden and his predecessor, President Donald Trump, has declared China its primary long-term concern, citing Beijing's rapid military expansion and corrosive behavior in recent years. The relationship between the two countries is complex and multifaceted, but there are many factors that could influence the likelihood of a military conflict. It's hard to predict with certainty if and when the U.S. and China will go to war, but all indicators point to imminent confrontation. While the U.S. Department of Defense sought to downplay the memo, and a spokesperson said, "These comments are not representative of the department's view on China," it's no secret that the U.S. is preparing for any eventuality. This includes strengthening existing military partnerships with countries such as Australia, Japan, South Korea, and India. Recently, the U.S. and Japanese governments disclosed that a Marine Corps unit on the Japanese island of Okinawa will be refashioned into a force capable of hopping islands in the region and directing long-range missiles at adversaries. It's evident that there's a sense of urgency, and Gen.Michael A.Minihan's concerns need to be taken seriously.
Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.